صباح الخير.
صباح الخير.
صباح النور.
يعطيك العافية. معك نصر الأزرق. وين أبدأ وين أسجل شو أعمل؟ أنا حاضر. سيد نضال شخشير كيف حالك؟ أنا مش سامع الصوت على فكرة.
يا أهلا، مين؟
يسعد صباحك، طمني عنك.
الله يسعدك ويخليك، أهلا وسهلا، تحياتي.
الله يسعدك، يعطيكم العافية جميعا.
أهلين أستاذ ناصر، شو أخبارك؟
وينك زي ما بقولوا بالتصدير؟ بلش الاجتماع ولا لسه بنحكي تحت الهواء؟
لا رح نبلش.
الهواء الكل سمعنا.
هو موضوع بالتصدير، بقول وعدتني بالحلقة كرمتنا وداني. شو صار عينات الزلمة هذا اللي بده يروح السعودية؟
موجودين والله.
حبيت أذكرك، بنحكي بعد الاجتماع بس حبيت أذكرك.
صباح الخير جميعا.
الله يسعدك، شكرا.
صباح الخير حالكم. أنا نضال الشخشير من مصنع حياة الطفل بيب لاين.
أنا اسمي
نضال الشخشير.
أنا اسمي ناصر، شركة المحيط الأزرق صنفا.
أهلا وسهلا.
هلا بيك حبيبي.
أنا محمود أبو عوض، ربو فريكاست.
My name is محمود أبو عوض، ربو فريكاست.
صباح الخير، يعطيكم
صباح النور.
Good morning.
يعطيكم العافية. أحمد جرار، شركة عطا رباح.
أحمد جرار from عطا رباح company for aluminum manufacturing.
مجد جبرين من شركة الغذاء الأول أشتغل.
مجد الجبرين from الغذاء الأول company.
صباح الخير.
Good morning.
رينجر جوردن رينجر، عندنا مخيم للمغامرة والتحدي ومنتجع بيئي في جرش.
We have a camp for ventures and an eco lodge in جرش.
بعد يعطيكم العافية. رح نضطر هلا نعمل مايكات عشان عم بيكون في صدى.
We will ask you please to mute your microphones because we hear an echo. We don't want to lose time, so please introduce yourself on the chat function on the team in order to make the best out of the time we have available today. Again, I would like to welcome all of you today. We are under the patronage of His Excellency the Minister of Trade, Industry and Supply, Mr. Al-Shamali. We will launch the first virtual seminar to propagate the exportation services, and we will have a number of service providers here in Jordan in order to help you to develop this side of your business. Of course, I will have both English and Arabic introductions, Arabic for us and English for the people attending with us
So good morning,
who do not speak Arabic.
On the behalf of GRZ and under the under the Ministry of Trade, I would like to welcome you to this virtual clinic to highlight the importance of export businesses and to introduce you to some of the صدرنا خفيف لطيف إن شاء الله. للترجمة موجود اللينك بالchat. For the proper translation to everything in English, you can find the translation link in the chat option. ورح نبلش بكم من كلمة من
And we shall start with some introductory remarks by the sponsors, and then after that we will move to breakout rooms, and in the breakout rooms moderators will of course give us a brief about the services provided in the sector and how can they help you to export your products abroad. We shall start with the first individual that we have today, the first speaker, who is Mr. Ahmed Hamid, on behalf of His Excellency the Minister of Trade and Industry. Mr. Ahmed.
The floor is yours. تفضل.
شكرا جزيلا ستي، ومرحب بجميع الحضور.
Hello, welcome to
ومعالي
everyone.
الوزير يعني كلفني
And
أحضر
His
للأسف
Excellency
ما تمكن يكون
asked me
معنا
to
اليوم
attend on his
باجتماع
behalf
آخر
because he couldn't
وارتباط
actually
آخر.
attend today.
بداية برحب فيكم جميعا. للمشروع اللي ذكرته ومساعدة الجهات
For the project
المقدمة
which I have
للخدمات
mentioned and the service providers
من القطاعين الحكومي والقطاع
from both
العام
sectors,
اللي هم
the public
غرفة
and
صناعة الأردن وغرفة
the
صناعة
private sector,
عمان
both Amman Chamber of Industry and
والمؤسسة
Amman
الأردنية
Chamber of
لتطوير
Commerce
المشاريع
and also
الاقتصادية جيدكو
JETCO
وشركة بيت التصدير جمعية
and
المصدرين
the
الأردنيين
Export
وجمعية
House and
صاحبات
also the
الأعمال
Jordanian
والمهن.
Export Association.
هذه الجهات تم العمل معها من
We
قبل
have worked with these
زملائنا
organizations with our
بمشروع
colleagues
التجارة التشغيل
from the T4E project.
وتم مساعدتهم وبناء القدرات
They were helped and
في هذه المؤسسات. طبعا بعض الخدمات
capacity building was
يتم
provided
تقديمها
in these
لكن تم
organizations. Of course, some of the services were provided.
أيضا
However,
مساعدة هذه الجهات على أن تقدم
these
خدمات
also
التصدير.
organizations
خدمات
have been
تصدير
helped to provide
أربع
exportation
خدمات
services. Of course, there
رئيسية
are
هي خدمات
four main
تقييم جاهزية
export
الشركات
services, which
لتصدير
is first
الأسواق
of all
الخارجية
assessing
وخدمات دراسة
the readiness
الأسواق
of
وتقديم
companies
معلومات
for
الشركات حول
broad
الأسواق والمتطلبات التصديرية
exportation.
بالإضافة للبعثات
In
التجارية
addition
والتشبيك
to
بين
some
الشركات
of the commercial or trade
وبشمل
missions
ذلك
and also
المشاركة في المعارض طبعا
matchmaking. This also
بالإضافة
includes
لتقديم
participation
خدمات حول
in fairs
تمويل
and
الصادرات يعني مساعدة
and
الشركات
exhibitions,
في
in
الحصول على
addition to
المعلومات
helping companies by funding
يحصلوا على
exportation
تمويل
and providing
للصادرات.
information to the companies in how to obtain funding
زي
for
ما
exportation.
بتعرفوا
As you know,
يعني جائحة كورونا أثرت طبعا على
the
الاقتصاد
COVID-19 pandemic have affected
بعام
the Jordanian
2020
economy
زادت
adversely, and in
صادراتنا
2020
فقط 1%
our
يعني
exportation have
تقريبا
increased only by
ما في زيادة
1%, meaning that
لكن
there
الحمد
is
لله في أول
virtually
6
no
شهور
increase.
زادت
However, thankfully in the
بأكثر من
first 6 months
23%
it has increased by 23%,
وبصراحة هذا شيء جيد
and quite frankly this is very good.
جدا في أسواق جديدة
Of course, this allows us, of course, to enter into new markets, and of course, this is very positive. And we want to create, of course, job opportunities, and therefore we need to work on exportation. This, of course, includes both sectors,
الخدماتي
the service sector,
أو القطاع
as well as
الصناعي أو الزراعي.
the
فهو بيساعد
industrial
جميع
and the
القطاعات. إحنا ما
agricultural
بدنا
sector. So
ننظر
it
بس
helps
إنه
all
هي
sectors,
فقط
meaning we don't want to
القطاعات الصناعية.
we don't want to only
هي
focus
تشمل
on
كذلك
industry, but
الزراعة
we want to also
والخدمات
focus
اللي هي
on the
بتشكل برضو
agricultural sector as well as services sector, which
لا
constitute
بأس فيه من
a significant
زي ما
amount
تفضلت
of the
زميلتنا
economy. Just like our colleague
التي 4E
from the T4E said,
راح يكون في عرض
we will have a presentation
بشكل عام وبعدين
in general, and
الجهات اللي
then
ذكرتها
the
شركائنا
organizations which we
الخدمات
have mentioned, the service providers,
كل راح يكون في بريك اوت سيشنز هذه الخدمات
each service provider will have a breakout session and we will discuss the services separately.
يعني الحضور بيقدر يتوجه
And of course,
للغرفة اللي بيهتم فيها
the attendees can go to the room that they are interested in, whether it is in JETCO or the Export House or the Women Business Association or the Exports Association. Again, I would like to thank everyone for attending, and I would like to thank the colleagues from the T4E and the GIZ,
وإن شاء الله تكون ذات فائدة.
and hopefully it will be beneficial for everyone.
الآن نحن بنطلق هذه الخدمات.
Right now we are launching these services,
على تعميمها على ممكن
and
جهات
of course they will be
على
mainstreamed
زيادة
to others.
الخدمات لدى كل جهة لأنه مش كل
And
جهة
we are
بتقدم
here
الأربع خدمات
are trying to
اللي
increase the
ذكرتهم.
services provided by each service provider, but because not every service provider provides all the 4 services. However, we can maybe develop all of them because these services will be beneficial for the Jordanian companies, and these are necessary.
بشكل للشركات لحتى نلاقي في فرص.
Which would enable companies to
بتوقف الآن ما بدي أطيل عليكم. هي
Right now I'll stop. Of course, I'm not going to take much of your time. The whole session will continue until 12:30. Hopefully it will be beneficial and it will have beneficial information. I would like to thank Mr. Sharif Yunus again and everyone.
شكرا جزيلا سيد أحمد.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ahmed.
وفيت زي ما بيحكوا.
You have already covered a lot of ground. However, I would like to remind you that the translation link is available in the chat, and the translation is streamed live to YouTube. I would like to welcome Mr. Sharif Yunus, the director of the T4E project from GIZ. Thank you very much to all of you. Good morning to all of you again. My name is Sharif Yunus. I'm from GIZ, from the T4E project. In the beginning, Mr. Ahmed Hamad, the Director of the Economic Policies Directorate from the Ministry of Trade and Industry and Supply, representing His Excellency the Minister, ladies and gentlemen, the moderators of the different groups from the different organizations, the partners of T4E project, ladies and gentlemen, the representatives of the companies and the private sector in Jordan, good morning to all of you. And in the beginning, allow me to welcome on behalf of the staff of T4E as well as GIZ, allow me to welcome all of you today in this very important event, which is the propagation of the exportation services provided by all of the partners, the service providers here in the Kingdom of Jordan. The issue of exportation, as you well know, is one of the most important priorities of the Jordanian government by the private sector, as it contributes directly to the growth of trade as well as increasing job opportunities, and also contributing to the economic growth plan as mentioned in several documents, like the outcomes of the London conference of 2019, which will continue to be implemented until 2024, and also in the other announced plans subsequently for the economic stimulation by the government of Jordan. That is why the T4E project had primarily endeavored, which is implemented of course by GIZ, with funding by the government of Germany and the Kingdom of the Netherlands. It aims at supporting the Kingdom's plans in this regard, in cooperation with the primary partner, which is the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Supply, to building the national capacities and promoting and improving the different exportation services which the private sector requires in order to penetrate with the Jordanian exports and products into many international markets, with which the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan is linked in free trade agreements or preferential trade. Of course, I will explain to you exactly how did we start to work on this by my colleague Sahar Al-Yusuf. Later on, of course, we will work on this part specifically in the presentation. Today's event comes in order to celebrate more than 10 advanced and specialized training programs that were implemented in order to improve the quality of exportation services, especially for the staff of the service providers from the different institutions and the chambers. This included more than 2,500 training hours, one-on-one, in addition to some guidance and coaching sessions. All of that comes within a systematic approach and according to the international best practices, which you will become familiar with also in the presentation that my colleague will deliver. The implementation of all of these projects in cooperation with the Icon Institute, which my colleague Sahar Al-Yusuf is representing today, and who will of course talk about it in her presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, I would like to thank you very much, and I would like also to thank all of our partners from the service providers, including Jordan Chamber of Industry, Jordan Chamber of Commerce, Amman Chamber of Commerce, and also JEDCO, as well as the Women Business Association, as well as the Jordanian Exporters Association. All of these partners and the multiple organizations have worked in the past time on improving some of the trade services that the private sector companies need, which includes, of course, market research of the different markets, and also assessing the readiness of companies for exportation, and also providing information related to the funding projects for exports available for many countries.
وأيضا كل ما يتعلق ببعثات
And also anything related to the trade missions and also participating in international fairs and exhibitions.
حابب ألقي الضوء
I would like here to shed light very quickly.
من كلمتي على
Before I finish my opening remarks, I would like to shed light on what we will do in the future by the T4E project. After we finish the capacity building in relation to the commercial services, of course the project will continue and it will focus on a very important topic and a priority for the Jordanian economy and the Jordanian government, which is the e-commerce. And of course, in the coming time, the project will focus more on promoting the e-commerce and also will help many companies to sell their products using the different platforms available internationally. Also, the project is working on several different projects related to facilitating trade, including the digitization in relation to issuing the trade and the commercial documents, which includes the certificates of origin as well as the plant's health certificates, which we will also work on to digitize later on, subsequently, of course, in cooperation with the different relevant entities in this regard. Finally, I would like to extend my thanks and gratitude again to all of the participants today. And personally, I know many of them from the private sector, and I thank them very much for attending and for their interest in today's webinar. And of course, the objective is to help the different companies and to deliver the different services. So I thank very much for participating and also participating in the breakout sessions. And of course, in the breakout sessions after the main opening session, we will discuss the different topics in it.
الافتتاحية واللي هتهدف إلى تعريف حضراتكم بكافة الخدمات المقدمة من الشركاء في هذا الشأن وكيفية الاستفادة منه. الشكر موصول جميعا ومتمنيا محادثات مثمرة اليوم، وأيضا مزيد من النمو والنشاط التجاري خلال الفترة القادمة. شكرا جزيلا.
شكرا على كل
هلا نحكي فيه مع زي ما حلاقي سابقا هدف واحد من
So as we said before,
الهم الأكبر
the T4E project, in the beginning of the project,
بعرف قديش هذا الهم الأساسي العاملين في مجال في مختلف القطاعات واللي بيحاولوا بشكل دائم يكون بس في خطأ فني. مصطفى بليز في مشكلة صار على البرزنتيشن إذا بتقدر. طيب أنا رح أكمل بس على ما ترجع الصورة.
Okay, so I will continue waiting for the video to return. In 2018, T4E have conducted a study in which more than 400 companies have participated. They participated in a survey, and of course, one of the most important outcomes of that survey is that national private sector companies were in need of several main services that would facilitate for them to engage in international commerce or trade. Some of these services were to assess the readiness of the companies to export into specific markets. Of course, you know that before we start exporting, we need to know that we actually can export, and then after that the market research, and then after that the trade missions as well as the fairs and the business-to-business meetings, and finally we had some information about the export financing services. These were the main services that the private sector companies in Jordan needed, according to the survey. In relation to the other topic, which this survey have concluded, is that despite the availability of such services, the majority of our national companies do not have sufficient information about the channels of this service provision and how to utilize such services. That's why we worked with our partners in Jordan, which is Amman Chamber of Industry and Jordan Chamber of Commerce, the Export House and the Women Business Association, as well as the Jordanian Exporters Association, and also JEDCO.
I
think the presentation is back.
المؤسسة الأردنية لتطوير المشاريع الاقتصادية كونهم مزودين الخدمة الرئيسيين في الأردن
for enterprise development, JEDCO, since they are the main service providers in Jordan, and we have started working with them on a number of interventions, and today we are crowning all of the services and the activities in this webinar, and we want to introduce you to what has been achieved in the previous time. The mechanism we have utilized in in the beginning was to assess or to evaluate the services provided in each organization, and then based on this assessment or the evaluation, we identified the number of services that each organization should focus on. And then we have developed the service provision, and then we worked on institutional capacity building, and we finished with developing the communication strategies in order to allow them to communicate with you and to educate you about the services they provide. We would like to shed light on each phase of these, and we would like to tell you about the achievements in each service, in each phase, I'm sorry. The first phase is evaluating the services provided by each institution. In the beginning of the project in 2020, we have conducted an organizational performance assessment by specialized experts, and of course we focused on the export services. And of course through this evaluation we were able to identify the strengths of each organization that we want to work on, and we also have identified areas of improvement in order to establish services that would help the members or the MSMEs to improve their export activities. There was a strategy established for developing the institutional capacity building, and it was of course surrounding the improvement of the export services, and of course we developed it with the service providers in a manner that is in line with their institutional vision. Of course, working with our partners was in an actual partnership. We were talking to them in order to talk to the SMEs, the beneficiaries, in order to come up with services that would be in line with all of the or suitable for all of the partners. Then after that, after we conducted the evaluation, we said that we needed to identify primary services that each organization should focus on in order to build upon the strengths and to make the best use of our available resources. When I'm talking about resources here, I mean the human resources, the expertise or the cumulative experience in addition to any other platforms available, like e-platforms as well as the research instruments and the international relations they have abroad. And then after that we standardized the measures or the procedures of obtaining the services in order to improve the quality of service provision. So we started having an easy to access service, so you can obtain this service very easily, you can access it very easily. And of course this will be the topic of discussion in the breakout sessions after the main presentation. In front of you there is a matrix, and in this matrix it shows all of the service providers and what are the services they provide. For example, Jordan Chamber of Industry is working on the inbound trade missions and also the export markets research, while JETCO focus mainly on conducting evaluation or evaluating readiness for exportation. So this matrix shows you exactly each service provider and what are the main services they provide. In order to improve the service provision, we started working in the beginning on evaluating the company's export readiness of companies, and of course we developed an electronic self-assessment tool which is available through Amman Chamber of Industry website. And of course this self-assessment tool allows each institution to access it and to answer some questions, and at the end they extract a report that shows them their weaknesses and strengths. Here I would like to show you a part
الأجوبة
of
الأسئلة
the
اللي
questions
ممكن إنه تنسأل
that could be
الSME
asked
عليها
or the
وبالتالي
SME could be
بيطلع
asked
عندها
about.
زي ما أنتم شايفين
Therefore,
هون
they come up here with
تقرير أو
self-evaluation.
رادار ببين وين هي
It's a
نقاط
report
القوة
or
ونقاط
radar that
الضعف
shows what are the
لكل عملية
strengths and
التصدير، كل
weaknesses
ما
of
يخص
all of the
التصدير
export process,
ومفاتيح
everything
النجاح
related to
اللي
export, and
بتمهد
also the keys to
لتوسيع
success
نشاطات
that would
الشركة التصديرية.
set the ground for expansion
أيضاً بوضع
of the
آلية
export
مفصلة
company.
لإجراء
Also, we
تقييم
have
حسب
developed
السوق
a detailed
المستهدفة
mechanism
من خلال أدوات تقييم
depending, of
مختلفة
course, on the
يقوم
targeted
بها
market
خبراء
through different
متخصصين.
evaluation tools conducted by experts.
هي بتختلف شوي عن آلية
This is a
التقييم
little bit
الذاتي
different from the
الإلكترونية لأنه هي لازم تكون فيها
self-assessment
زيارة
tool,
ميدانية بيقوم
because this
فيها
needs
خبراء
to
مختصين
have a field
بيزوروا
visit
المصنع
conducted
عندكم
by experts
وبيقوموا
that they
بإجراء
would visit your factory and they would
شامل
conduct a
لكل
comprehensive
النقاط
evaluation
الخاصة
of all
بالتصدير
of the points
وبالنهاية
related to
بيطلع في
exportation,
تقرير
and at the
بتقدم
end they come up
لحضراتكم.
with a
ممكن
report that
هذا
is submitted
التقرير
to you.
يتبعه نوع من
This
أنواع
report could be followed
technical
by
assistance أو
some
المساعدة
technical
التقنية.
assistance provided by them.
وحتى نضمن
In order to
جودة
ensure
الخدمة
the quality
وثباتها
of service and the
واستدامتها
consistency and
تم
sustainability
تطوير
of such service, we have
إجراءات
developed
قياسية اللي هي
standard
بنسميها
operating
standard operating
procedures.
procedures بحيث إنه
Whereas
بتكون بشركة ACI وشركة بيت التصدير. وطبعا تقدروا من خلال زيارتكم
by visiting the breakout rooms of the different organizations, you may ask how you can utilize the service.
بعد ما عرفت الشركة
After the company learns it is ready for exportation or an action plan is developed for it in order to improve
وجودها في على خريطة التجارة العالمية،
on the international trade map, we need to know which market do we want to target, which market is more suitable for our capabilities and products. So therefore, we must have a number of export market research available for the company to learn which market is the most suitable for it. So we have designed, or we have actually improved the service of the export market research with the service providers, which is the Jordan Exports and Jordan Chamber of Industry, Amman Chamber of Industry, as well as the PPWA.
النشاطات تنوعت بين
The activities were diverse between designing a mechanism for conducting market research, following the best international practices, and in a manner that suits the needs of the different companies. We have conducted several focus groups with the organizations, and we came up with findings of the most important information that our companies need in order to select the markets properly. And based on that, we have developed this mechanism, and we have also designed the regular reports that must be submitted by these companies, and we have also created a database related to each report, and we have also developed a detailed mechanism for collecting and analyzing the data, and also similar to the previous service, we have also created a standard operating procedures in order to ensure sustainability and consistency of such service. Indeed, our partners have started to develop a number of reports. What you see here is a report conducted by the Export House about South Africa. This is a detailed report that we can make it accessible to you through the breakout room that you join. This is also a list of some market research. We call it the country profile, or information about the different countries. The trade map report, which is through the ITC platform. However, the information is not only data, but rather analytical information in a manner that serves the best interest of the different sectors. What are the market and trade requirements for the different sectors?
الأسواق المختلفة
or the different markets.
تعرف أن نعرف barriers per product. شو هي العوائق التجارية وغير التجارية اللي هي الرسوم أو غير الرسوم اللي ممكن أنها تواجهكم بالدول المختلفة إلى آخره من
and so on and so
أشكال
forth
التقارير
of the different forms of reports.
هذا الموضوع مهم جدا
This topic
لحضراتكم،
is
أنا
very
بعرف، عشان
important
هيك
to you.
بتمنى
I'm
حضراتكم لما
very sure,
تفوتوا
and
على
that's why
المزودين الخدمة في
I would
البريك أوت
request you
رومز
when you
اسألوا كل
join the
شيء
breakout
بتحتاجوه
rooms and talk to the
واستفسروا
service
كيف ممكن
providers. Please
تحصلوا على هاي
ask about
المعلومات، لأنه
everything
من
that
غير
you
هاي
want and
المعلومات
ask how can you access such
التصدير
information,
هيكون
because
كتير صعب.
without such information exportation will be very difficult.
زي ما بتعرفوا
As you
الديسك
know,
ريسيرش أو
the desk
الخدمات
research
الابحاث الأسواق اللي هي بتصير من المكتب غير كافية. لازم نطلع للسوق المستهدف، لازم تشوفوا هذا السوق المستهدف، تلتقوا بليدز مختلفة من البوتنشال بايرز اللي موجودين هناك، حتى تقدروا فعلا إنكم تنفذوا عملية التصدير وما تضلها بس عبارة عن قائمة بالأمنيات إنه أنا بدي أدخل السوق الفلاني ولكن وعملت الريسيرش بس مش قادر أوصل.
the research, but I cannot really penetrate or access the market. Our partners and service providers, as you know, provide several services, including the trade missions, whether inbound or outbound. Inbound meaning that I receive foreign delegations from the targeted markets here in Jordan, or I take a number of local companies and I take them to a fair or an exhibition or in a different country, a specific market where we can have some research and where we can have business-to-business meetings with potential buyers.
حتى نضمن إنه الجودة الخدمة اللي عم نقدمها هي موحدة، عم نحط صورة الأردن بشكل ملائم من خلال هاي البعثات التجارية، من خلال هاي المعارض. قمنا بوضع إجراءات قياسية مع
standard operating procedures with the Jordanian Exporters Association as well as Jordan Chamber of Commerce and Amman Chamber of Industry, and we have established a number of SOPs which would ensure in the beginning selecting the destiny or the fair or the sector depending on the priorities of the companies in the target market, and we have established specific criteria for selecting the participating companies, whereas when we go there and participate, those companies would be able to meet the requirements,
المتطلبات المشترين في هذيك البلد، وربطناها بالإكسبورت ريدنس أو جاهزية على التصدير. فاللي بيجتاز اختبار الجاهزية للتصدير بيكون موجود معنا في هاي البعثات التجارية، وعملنا كمان آلية لتصميم وتنفيذ الفعالية بكافة مراحلها، وضعناها بين إيدين شركائنا حتى يقدروا إنهم يقدموا من الآن فالصاعدين
to enable them to provide better service from now on in regards to inbound and outbound trade missions. So this is an example
اللي عم نحكيه اللي
of what we are talking about,
كيفية اختيار
which is how the participants are selected.
كل هاي المعلومات رح تكون
متوفرة لكم
من خلال البريك أوت
in the breakout rooms.
آخر خدمة رح نحكي عنها ويمكن هي
the last service that we will talk about, and maybe it is the most important one or the one of most concern to you. I passed the export readiness assessment, and I went and visited the targeted market, and I'm ready to export. However, right now I have a cash deficit. I want someone to finance my export. So who can actually finance my exports in the country? So we have worked with the exports house company to establish a new service for it is put out for the first time in Jordan, which is information about the export financing services available, and through this service we would identify who are the export financiers and what are the criteria for benefiting from such service, and of course there will be means of identifying the service providers and also establishing a memorandum of understanding between Jordan Exports House and those resources. And of course we have developed also a mechanism for putting out or publishing such information to the companies in order to ensure sustainability and consistency of the quality of services. We have also established a number of SOPs that would facilitate achieving this objective.
فهاي بالمختصر هي الأربع خدمات الرئيسية اللي ركزنا عليها خلال السنتين الماضيات واشتغلنا فيها بشكل جدا كبير مع شركائنا. وهون أنا بحب يعني أتوجه بالشكر لكل الموظفين في مع الشركاء اللي هم غرفة صناعة عمان، BTWA، جوردن إكسبورت، على الجهود وجوردن إكسبورت أسوسيشن على الجهود الكبيرة اللي بذلوها معنا وعلى شغفهم لأنهم يحسنوا من الخدمة اللي بيقدموها لحضراتكم.
their keenness to improve the services provided
بعد
to you.
ما عملنا كل هذا التصميم
After we did all of this design of the SOPs
وطريقة تقديم الخدمة
and
كان
how the
لابد
service
من
provision
بناء
or the
القدرات
service provision
المؤسسية.
model, we needed to work on institutional capacity building. So therefore, we've implemented a number of training programs, more than 10 basically. When I say training programs, these are workshops actually. We would gather the colleagues,
موظفين في المؤسسات ومزودين الخدمة ودربناهم على knowledge وعلى السكيلز المختلفة لهاي الأربع خدمات. عملنا أكثر من 2500 ساعة تدريبية فردية طالت أكثر من 25 موظف تنفيذي في هاي المؤسسات. لضمان الاستمرارية طورنا حقائب تدريبية شاملة عدها متخصصين وهاي الحقائب التدريبية موجودة حاليا
packages are right now available with the service providers.
عملنا كمان مش بس classroom training وإنما عملنا on-job
training. We did not stop at classroom training, but we have also conducted on-the-job training by providing coaching sessions to the service providers in order to ensure that the employees are fully aware of how these services should be provided to your excellencies and they can provide such services effectively to you. And in order to ensure the continuity of learning, even after the end of the project, we have conducted also training of trainers program, and we trained a number of the staff and the service providers. We helped them to become actually capable of developing these services further and to provide training
للناس اللي رح يجوا بعدهم
to the next generation.
وفي النهاية حتى نقدر نوصل لحضراتكم بدنا إيش نعمل؟ بدنا نطور.
What did we want to do? We wanted to develop.
جماعتنا اليوم اشتغلوا فيه بموضوع إيش؟ البرزنتيشن. كنت تتحملونا.
I lost my presentation again. Sorry.
Okay. حتى نقدر إنه كل هاي المعلومات توصل لحضراتكم بطريقة فاعلة وبشكل مستمر وتكونوا على دراية كاملة بهاي الخدمات والتطويرات اللي عم تصير عليها. اشتغلنا مع شركائنا على وضع استراتيجية لتعزيز فعالية التواصل مع الشركات المحلية حول الخدمات اللي بيقدموها. عملنا لكل سيرفيس من هاي الخدمات عملنا فاكت شيت رح تكون برضو متوفرة من خلال بريك أوت لحضراتكم. ساعدناهم بتطوير المحتوى الإلكتروني اللي ممكن من خلاله إنه حضرتكم تتعرفوا على كل ما هو جديد عندهم وعملنا بيان لقنوات التواصل الأمثل لكل مزود خدمة اللي بتناسب مع الفئة المستهدفة لكل مزود. هذا باختصار شغل سنتين فريق كامل سواء منا احنا مشروع التجاري لأجل التشغيل وشركة ايكون وايضا من شركائنا مزودين الخدمة. نتمنى انه الجهود اللي صارت خلال الاشهر الماضية تكون ثمارها تلمسوه انتم كشركات محلية وهذا الشيء رح يساعدكم باذن الله انكم تكونوا تزيدوا من نشاطاتكم التصديرية للأسواق التقليدية وغير التقليدية. زي ما حكينا هلا صار وقت الانتقال للبريك اوت روم. رح
move to the
كل مزود
breakout
خدمة
rooms, and of
معاكم
course
بكل
each service provider
break
will
out
be
room
in
يقدم لكم
one
شرح
breakout room, and
مفصل
of
عن
course they
دورهم
will
الأساسي عن
provide a full
خدماتهم
explanation about their
اللي
services
بيقدموها الرئيسية وكيفية الاستفادة
and
من كل
how
هاي
to
الخدمات
benefit from
ورح
all of
يتم
these services.
الإجابة
And of
على
course,
كافة
we
استفساراتكم.
will answer all
بدي
of
أترك
your
المايك وشكرا
questions in the
لاستماعكم
breakout
شكرا
rooms. Thank you very
لحضراتكم
much.
ولوقتكم.
I will leave the microphone
بدي
right
أترك
now. Thank you
المايك
very much for
لزميلتي
listening. I will
زينة
leave the
حمارنة
floor for my
لتشرح
colleague
لكم
Zaina
أكثر عن
Hamadna to
كيفية
explain to you
الانتقال
how to move
للبريك
to the
أوت رومز
breakout rooms,
وبشوفكم هناك بإذن
and
الله.
I
شكرا
will see you
جزيلا
there.
لكم.
Thank you very much to all of you.
يعطيكي ألف عافية
Thank you so much, Engineer Sahar.
الانتقال للبريك اوت رومز
Moving to the breakout rooms
إذا بتفوتوا
will be
هلا على
very
الشات
easy if you go to the chat right now.
زملائنا من الاي تي تفوتوا على اللينك
Our colleagues from IT, please help us. Please go to the chat and select the link to the session you want to start with.
بتصيروا بالسيشن الجديده.
So once you enter into the new session, this main session will be closed automatically, and you will have people from the service providers. So I hope that you have benefited so far, and you will further benefit and learn. And if you have any questions,
معاكم القدرة إنكم تنتقلوا من غرفة للثانية.
you will have also the ability to move from one room to another, and you will have the links in each breakout room, and you can actually go to another service provider by clicking on that link. For example, if you are in the Jordan Exports room, after you finish your questions, if you want to go to another room, you can just click on the link of the other room and go to it automatically.
إلى أن تنتهي من
and
طرح كل
you
أسئلتك
can
وتحصل على كل
continue
المعلومات اللي بتحبها.
moving from one room to another until you are finished asking our questions. And thank you very much. We will also be with you in all of the breakout rooms. If you have any technical problem, you can actually communicate with us over chat, and a person from IT will help you to move from one breakout room to another.
غرفة لغرفة. إذا معه الرابط رجع البراوزر عليه مفروض يزبط. إذا لا